Hello again. This is Bob Ford with Bob Ford's History, Mystery, and Lore. If you're new to the channel, here we dive into all kinds of interesting historical topics, so please like and subscribe. Also consider joining as a patron. You'll receive new videos before other history buffs. Go to our website, bobfordshistory.com, to help support the work. Today, we're getting into part 3 of my Jesse James video series. Let's get started. Like Pavlov's dog, I went back to Northfield, Minnesota, where the James Younger gang met their demise. Unlike the first time I was in town, I met with Sean Allen, the executive director of the Northfield Historical Society, for what Paul Harvey would say is the rest of the story. Let us remember how ruthless, successful, and famous the gang had become before entering the city. Ever since robbing the Clay County Savings Association on the square in Liberty, Missouri in 1866, the James gang had been on a roll. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, today's dollar is valued 30 times what the 1880 dollar was worth in purchasing power. In the first robbery alone, it's estimated the boys got away with $60,000. The take from the exploits between 1866 and 1882 was huge, causing a ripple effect on banking, the insurance industry, mining, and freighting. In those years, it is estimated that the gang robbed in excess of 20 banks and trains, hauling in over $200,000. With that in mind, makes you wonder, where's the loot? The James gang's gold and/or stash is a mystery treasury hunters are trying to find to this day. After the Gads Hill, Missouri train robbery in early 1874, rewards increased for Jesse and his band to a record amount: $25,000 for Jesse, $15,000 for brother Frank, and $5,000 for any other gang member, dead or alive. The brazen thefts, unprecedented violence, and elusiveness caused the James Younger gang to become newspaper and dime novel sensations. The eastern part of the United States was mesmerized by the lawlessness of what was going on in the West. Gunfights in the streets, Indian uprisings, wide open frontier towns, and gold. Everyone had a family member or someone they knew that ventured west looking for a new opportunity and life. Later in 1874, the Pinkerton Detective Agency was hired by Adams Express Company to finally capture and put an end to the James gang's successful run. Then failing to bring anyone in for years only added to the mystique of the outlaws. Always on the lookout for a new target, Jesse heard about the largest bank west of the Mississippi that was loaded. It was located in Northfield, Minnesota, the First National Bank. Never letting mileage be a concern, a plan was devised. Jesse, Frank, the Youngers loved horses. They treated and rode the best. Knowing a good horse could spell the difference between being captured or freedom. In other words, life versus death. The gang included Jesse, Frank, Cole, Bob, and Jim Younger, along with Clell Miller, Charlie Pitts, and Bill Chadwell. The boys rode into Northfield at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, September 7th, 1876. Frank, Charlie, Bob entered the bank as Cole and Clell stood at the doorway, not letting anyone else in. The other three took up positions as bookends on the block. J.S. Allen, a local, noticed something odd and walked towards the bank to see what was going on. Clell grabbed Allen, pointed his gun at him, and told him to be quiet. Allen broke away, reportedly warning all on Main Street, shouting, "Get your guns, the bank is being robbed." With the robbery discovered, the lookouts rode up and down Main Street, shooting their pistols in the air, warning people to stay inside or they'd be shot. A medical student, Harry Wheeler, quickly grabbed a rifle and went to the third floor of the hotel right across the street. He took aim at Clell Miller, who was just getting on his horse, and dropped him. Ansel Manning, the owner of the hardware store, who had never shot a gun before, came around the corner with a carbine and unloaded one lucky shot, hitting Bill Chambers in the head a half a block away. In the crossfire, another local, Nicholas Gustafson, was mortally wounded. Cole Younger yelled into the bank for the boys to hurry up and get out, but things weren't going any better inside the bank. Frank James ordered the bank's bookkeeper, Joseph Haywood, to open the vault, which he said was on a time lock, and he couldn't. That was a lie. Frank shot over his head, and with that distraction, a teller tried to flee. Making it outside into the back alley in just a few feet, he was shot in the shoulder by Charlie Pitts. The vault door was now open. It was never locked during the day, and Frank James went inside. As chaos and gunfire reigned outside, Haywood tried to close the vault door, catching James inside. Frank managed to get his arm partially out of the heavy door, smashing his limb. Frank came out mad and pistol-whipped Haywood, realizing the whole robbery was now a failure. He grabbed what loose money in a cash drawer he could. Frank, in pain, prepared to leave the bank, but before he told Haywood to get on his knees and proceeded to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. And you thought Frank was the nice one. In the street, as the gang tried to escape, mayhem ensued. Many people weren't even armed but came out throwing rocks at the robbers. Others had guns. In seconds, 2 robbers and 2 civilians lay dead in the street, while Jesse and the Youngers were wounded, some worse than others. What was left of the gang made their getaway, ensuing the largest manhunt in United States history. The Youngers were hit with multiple shots and in trouble. Jesse and Frank split from the others, riding hundreds of miles out of their way west, managing to return to Missouri weeks later. The Youngers didn't fare as well. Captured, they stood trial, receiving a life sentence for murder and robbery, to be served at the famed Stillwater Prison, where Bob Younger died of tuberculosis at the age of 35. Jim and Cole Younger became exemplary prisoners and earned a pardon thanks to a friendly warden in 1901. Jim committed suicide in 1902, but Cole went on to write a memoir admitting being an avenging lost cause Confederate, but only confessing to one criminal act, Northfield. With the gang now wiped out, the boys took some time off to heal and plan for the future, but things would not be the same. They had been so successful with the old gang, to bring in new members meant trusting people they didn't really know. The decision to press on would spell their end. Following a few more jobs in 1881, Jesse decided to take even more time off, moving to St. Joseph, Missouri under the alias Mr. Howard. Now seeking to blend into the city, Jesse and his son would come down to the old Patey House Hotel every Sunday and read the paper. Mr. Howard lived in St. Joseph, Missouri for 100 days. Wanting to put together another band, Jesse recruited the Ford brothers, who were known but not trusted. Bob and Charlie Ford had other plans. Wanting to become famous and get the reward, it was Bob Ford, that dirty little coward, who shot Jesse in the back of the head, killing him instantly in his own home with Jesse's family in the next room. The life and times of Jesse James is full of legend and lore. Hollywood took note of Jesse's popularity, producing 59 mostly B movies, including Alias Jesse James, starring Bob Hope, The Outlaws Is Coming, featuring the Three Stooges, and my favorite, Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter. Because of Jesse and the game's continued popularity, there are several worthwhile museums catering to those who can't get enough. Jesse James Birthplace Museum in Kearney, Missouri, the Patey House Hotel and Jesse James Home in St. Joseph, Missouri, the First National Bank Museum in Northfield, Minnesota, Jesse James Historical Site in Adair, Iowa, and Heat and Bowman Funeral Home in St. Joseph, Missouri, which displays the casket. The name Jesse James has been prolific in Civil War and Wild West lore for decades. As history fades, you wonder what's the staying power Jesse has on generations to come. I was having lunch with a young man in Columbia, Missouri weeks ago when he asked me what I was working on. Well, wrapping up a series on Jesse James, I replied, "Oh, this guy." With that, he rolled up his sleeve to reveal a fantastic tattoo on his tricep of none other than Jesse himself. Wanted to have an image of places I've lived that have influenced my life, and St. Joe was one of them. Not sure I'd choose Jesse to represent St. Joseph, but it's funny the staying power and impact this ruthless robber had on several generations and a sleepy little town in southern Minnesota. Thank you very much to Rupp Funeral Home for sponsoring this video. They started in St. Joseph in 1939 and have been serving this community faithfully ever since. Thank you, Rupp. Thank you all for watching. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe. Consider becoming a patron for more exclusive historical content. All my videos go up there several days early. Becoming a patron is truly the best way to support this channel. Comment below what historical topic you'd like me to cover next. You can find my podcast for Bob Ford's History, Mystery, and Lore linked below. See you next time. The Real Bob Ford out.